Oh, for fuck's sake. There we go. Yes, people. How are we all doing? Welcome all back to the channel. It's been a while, hasn't it? Last stream may or may not have been before the Arsenal game. There is a very good reason for that. For once, not just I can't be bothered. The very good reason is my Wi-Fi has not been working properly to stream up until yesterday. Can you believe it? Anytime you see me on a stream, I have been running it off of a hotspot on this old thing. So, yeah, pleasant times. But everything seems to be holding up at the minute, so we're going to try and make a comeback. And what better place to start than a little recap of the season so far? We're in the third international break of the season, which is a joke in itself, by the way. 3 international breaks, and we're not even in, the new year. We're not even in December, actually. 3 international breaks, we're not even in December. We have 1 in September, 1 in October, 1 in November. Absolute joke. But third international break, we might as well have a little proper look at the team, at the players, at the manager, and break down how we've got on so far this season, because I don't think anyone going into the season could have expected the start that we've had. The best start any new Liverpool manager has had in the club's history. In the club's history, this is the best start any Liverpool manager has had. I don't think anyone would have thought that going into this season. But we're here to break it down. If you're new, you're not ready, make sure on that like button, hit that subscribe button, you turn on notification bell so you don't miss any more content. If you're watching it on Twitch or Twitter or anything, bring yourselves over to the YouTube channel. Come support us over there. Much appreciated. Big ups as well for the super chat. Akia, who says, guys, we've been here many times before. Let's not get too carried away. I have no idea if you're talking about Liverpool or me coming back to stream, and let's calm down. Cautious optimism, hashtag you'll never walk alone. Big ups yourself, Akia. And we have been in this position a couple of times before, especially in recent years on the Jurgen Klopp. But personally, feels a little bit different. Feels just a little bit different this time because the manager that we've got at the helm and the style of play that we're using. So I have prepared. Well, I didn't prepare it. I found it thanks to Beige and Reds TV on tier list. I'm pretty sure they're a YouTube channel. Go subscribe to them. Big up to them for making this tier list. Made my job a hell of a lot easier. And we're going to be ranking the players, whether they've had an S season, an A season, a B season, a C season, or a D season. I might rename these, but I don't know yet. Let's start off for the very first one, and it's the holy goalie, Alisson Becker. Now, Alisson has missed he's missed a fair few games actually this season now with injury. He missed the Bournemouth game with an injury. And then he done his hamstring again up in Crystal Palace, and we haven't seen him since, and that was towards the start of October. But when Alisson has played, we have been ridiculous defensively, and I am pretty sure he has the best save percentage in the Premier League, which is what you expect from Alisson Becker. Like, he's the best goalie around. A mile away, the best goalie around. No one on the planet comes close to what Alisson Becker does. It's just, why is he so injury prone? Why does he get so many injuries, man? It blows my mind. When he's played, he's been an A tier. But has he played enough to be an A tier? That's my question. When he's played, the level he's played at, how good he's been in goal, he's been an A tier keeper. He's not been in the S tier. I think that's just too high considering, the amount of, shots he's faced and stuff. But has he played enough to qualify to be an A tier keeper? I'm going to say no. Might be harsh. I'm going to say Alisson's a B for now. He's a B for now. Just because the injuries, I mean, we've played 11 Premier League games now. And I think he's missed either just shy or just over half of them, which isn't great. Chelsea, He wasn't in goal for Arsenal. He wasn't in goal for, and other people had to step up. So again, not a knock on Alisson's ability, it's a knock on his availability. The fact that we haven't been able to see him much means that he has to go into the B tier. Right, next up, Connor Bradley. Connor Bradley. Now, another one who had a bit of an injury problem at one point in time. Obviously, came on against Aston Villa, done well. I think he done well when he came on in the cup, but there was a pretty poor moments against Nottingham Forest where he lets Hudson-Odoi cut inside, and obviously they get the goal from that. He just hasn't really played as much as he had done at points last season, I think. Again, it's another one, kind of like Alisson, where he's not necessarily played enough, but when he has played, for the most part, he's been quite good. Does he deserve then to go in the same category as Alisson? I don't think so. We'll put Bradley in C for now. Federico Chiesa. If we want to talk about they've not played enough, this is your man. He's going to have to go into D by the fact that we've seen about 3 games from him, and one of them was to start in the cup. But I definitely think I'll end up renaming these categories. Now, we answer someone who has played a fair amount. Curtis Jones. Ooh. Wasn't necessarily in the team as much at the start of the season. Had a bit of a ropey sort of spell after pre-season type thing. But from Chelsea, I would say he's been our best player in the midfield. That is not on the whole team, but in the midfield, I think he's been our best midfielder from Chelsea. I'm gonna put him at A. I'm gonna put him in the A tier. I think Curtis Jones. Again, S is reserved for a certain type of player. S is reserved for like the top 3 or 4 players of the season. I don't think Curtis Jones is that yet, but Curtis Jones had a very good season. And I think the thing that kind of does Curtis Jones in a little bit in this is the fact that this run of form, this turnaround in his form, this arrival in his form type thing has only really come about after October. Before October, i.e. September, August, he wasn't really in the team as much. So I think Curtis goes in the A category for now. Darwin Núñez, right. Again, a guy who wasn't really starting until the Jota injury. From when he started, whilst the goals haven't been necessarily there, I think his all-around play has been quite impressive. So for me, I think Núñez goes into the B tier. I think B is probably where Núñez goes. He's not an A, but I'm not debating about putting Núñez in A. I think it's about, is he a C or a B? And I think it comes down to how much you rate his overall play. And I think his overall play this season has been much improved. I think his link-up has been good. I think his hold-up has been good. I think his movement, for the most part, has improved. Again, are we still seeing some of the same problems with finishing? Yes. But as an overall package, I think Núñez has improved as a footballer, and I don't think we've lost a lot when he's been up front. So for me, Núñez is going to go in the B tier. He's not a C. I don't think he's C. I might come back to Núñez. Big ups as well. My guy, Liam Belson, for the super chat. We are winning the quad. Get your ball caps ready. I already said, if Liverpool win both the Premier League and the Champions League this year, I'll shave my head off. I'll go bald. If Liverpool do the double, I'll go bald. Who's next? Oh, Dominic Szoboszlai. Oh my god. Probably being the most polarizing player this season in the fan base, in the sense of is Nuna it not Nuna? I just saw Nuna. Is Soboslai what we thought he was going to be when we spent 60 million on him last summer? And that answer's no. That answer's no. But I see the job he does for the team. I see the job he does for the team. And I think there are moments where that job is needed. There are definitely moments where that job is needed. He really should go in between B and C. He really should be going in between them. He's going to go C for now. He's going to go C for now. Just in the sense of the games that we need him for. Like Arsenal when he came off the bench. He was quite good. And, for example, AC Milan away, I thought he turned up and put in a solid performance. But there's just been too many games this season where that hasn't happened, where his strength is not necessarily needed against weaker opposition. So I think back to like Palace away. Palace away wasn't a game for Szoboszlai. And we saw the problems in terms of his lack of protection of the football, for lack of a better term. Forest, he was horrendous. Trying to think of other ones. Chelsea. Can't remember if she played against Chelsea. That's not a good thing if I can't remember if he played. Wolves obviously wasn't great. Missed a massive chance there. United away was a decent performance in the first half, not great in the second half. I don't think anyone could argue that Szoboszlai has probably been the worst out of the midfielders that have played this year, bar Endo, for obvious reason. I don't think that's an argument anyone can make against it. I might come back to Szoboszlai. He might end up climbing his way into B, but for now he's going to go C. Endo probably also going to go C. Again, not played much, but when he has played, hasn't put a foot wrong. It's just a lack of game time that's been the thing that's done in Endo. Not really much to say about him. I mean, I thought he'd done pretty decently against against Brighton in the cup, against West Ham in the cup. When he's got his opportunity, he's not let you down. So I think Endo goes in the C tier. Cody Gakpo. I'm going to put Gakpo in the A tier. I think you're starting to see a fair amount of what Cody Gakpo can offer this team. I think he's an incredible left winger, such a unique profile. Adding the goals and the assists to his game. Once again in the cup, he's been the guy who's bailed us out. And I think he's the right dynamic to have on that left side. Maybe the goals haven't necessarily been there in the league, but I would say in the Champions League and in the Carabao Cup, and even then, it's not even just goals. I'd say his all-round game has been there in every competition. It's just necessarily the numbers haven't necessarily been there so far. But I think Cody Gakpo has had an A-tier season so far. I think him and Curtis Jones have had a similar type of season. So I'm going to put Gakpo in the 8 here. Joe Gomez. By the way, let's just address this right now. Cody Gakpo can cross. He's a really good crosser of the football. Let's not let's not try and change that. Joe Gomez, again, a guy who hasn't really played as much, but when he has played, again, hasn't put a foot wrong. I thought his cameo against Diaz. That makes sense then. His cameo against Thingy. Who did he come on against? Fucking Brighton. Thought he was very good against Brighton. But again, he falls into the same category as Endo and Bradley in the sense they just haven't played as much. Now, your first S-tier player, Ryan Gravenberch. Incredible season from Ryan Gravenberch. Going into the season, I don't think anyone on YouTube, on Twitter, in the pub, anyone would have sat there and told you Ryan Gravenberch is the solution. I'll put it this way. If at the end of last season, I told you Ryan Gravenberch was going to be Liverpool's number 6 next season, and he would turn out to be the best DM in the league, everyone would have laughed at it. Everyone would have thought I was going mental. Everyone would have went, "What are you on about?" But Ryan Gravenberch has been at that level this season. In possession, he turns out so easily. He's so important at linking everything up. Defensively, has not put a foot wrong. He makes lots of tackles. He gets involved in the play, puts himself about. He's finally using his physicality and his height properly to win aerial duels. And I think if you would take Ryan Gravenberch out of the team, Liverpool struggle a lot. I think that what he's done so far this season, Gravenberch, is remarkable. Really impressive. So for me, Gravenberch is the first S-tier player of the season and one of your contenders to player of the season easily. And he's probably part of the reason why Liverpool might not buy a DM in January, because he's been that impressive, which I don't agree with, by the way, but part of the reason. Harvey Elliott has to go into the D tier by virtue of he's played about 15 minutes this season. He's in the same category as Chiesa, but Chiesa's played more. But when he does come back, I think he'll be really important for us. Harvey Elliott, I think, it is quality on the ball. I don't think there's many people in this team who can play the passes that Harvey Elliott can. So I'm assuming that by the end of the season, or even probably by February, March time, we'll be seeing Harvey Elliott into this category. For foot. Oh my god. Diogo Jota. Diogo Jota's gonna go on the B tier. And this is from a guy who really likes Diogo Jota. The finishing hasn't been there this year. Obviously, he's injured at the minute. But before the injury, the finishing just wasn't there, which is what I've come to expect from Diogo Jota, the finishing normally being there. I think his link-up play and his all-round play was really good. I think his pressing was really important. I think that there's a reason why he was Arne Slot's first choice striker. But the finishing just wasn't there. And I can't put him lower than Nunes, because I think he's been better than Nunes. But I can't put him higher than Nunes, because I don't think he's been that much better than Nunes. So for me, Jota's got to go in the B tier. I think he's got, 4 goals, 2 assists this season. Obviously scored the winner against Ipswich and the winner against Wolves. Or the open, not Wolves, sorry, Crystal Palace. Assist for the penalty against Wolves. And I think arguably one of his best performances was Man United away, where he didn't even get a goal or an assist, but he was just, you saw the intelligence that he's got in his movements and his positioning. But he's going to have to go B for now. I think he goes B alongside Nunes. Quivin Kelleher. Ooh. I'll be honest, this might annoy a lot of people. Queeving Kelleher goes in the A tier. Queeving Kelleher has been in goal for a lot of the tough games. And based on the fact that there is less expectations regarding Queeving Kelleher, he's the backup keeper, doesn't really play as much. He's come in, not put a foot wrong at all. Not put a foot wrong at all. I think I look at his performance against Bayer Leverkusen. Really, really good. Made a number of really good saves. Arsenal, I know that that there was 2 goals conceded. Probably one of his worst games, and I still think he was quite good. Chelsea, good saves again. Against Brighton, some really good saves. Aston Villa made 2 brilliant saves off of corners. His distribution's always been good, but once again this season you've seen it showcased again. I think Queeving Kelleher is an A tier based on that. And that's not me saying Queeving Kelleher is a better goalkeeper than Alisson before anyone tries to clip this up and push it onto anyone else. I just think that he's had a better season so far based on the level of opposition that he's played and the performances that he put out. Now, next player, Ibu Kanate. That's another S here. Liverpool have the best defence in the league. Liverpool have one of the best defences in the world, if not the best defence in the world. Ibrahim Kanate has been at the level of, if not just slightly below Virgil van Dijk's level, as the best centre-back in the world. We've managed to keep him fit for the longest period of time we've ever got out of Kanate. And you can see just how good he is as a footballer and as a defender. Honest to God. I go back to the Arsenal game. Martinelli was in a foot race with him, and he just shaked out of it. So many top opposition Kanate's played this year, and so many top opposition Kanate's just bodied and dealt with without a care in the world. And I think the big thing that surprised me with Kanate this season has been the improvement that he's shown me on the ball in terms of the passing. Last year, there was times where he was a liability to have on the ball because people would just see what he was going to do in terms of how limited he was as a playmaker and sort of lock him into channels. This year, he's been so improved at that. I think back to the Bournemouth game where he played a ridiculous 60-yard assist for Luis Diaz. But even in other games, he's now added line-breaking passes to his game, which are so important for getting us out of situations. But the big focus with Kanate is defensively. Oh my God, he's an absolute monster defensively. An absolute monster defensively. In a duel, in a tackle, in the air, I don't think I've seen any forward get the better Kanate this season. So easy S tier for me. Luis Diaz. If you know me, you know I'm not the biggest fan of Luis Diaz. And yet he still goes in the S tier. Luis Diaz has added the one problem I had with him. I always said that for me to rate Luis Diaz, I needed to see a more consistent end product. And this season, I've seen a more consistent end product. And I've seen it in big moments. To get a hat-trick against Bayer Leverkusen is huge. They were, for all intents and purposes, the best team in the world last year. And playing an unfamiliar position as a false 9, Luis Diaz ran the show. I think you look at United away, a notoriously tough game. Not necessarily because the opposition are tough, but because of the occasion and the history and stuff. Luis Diaz goes and bags 2. The problems that I had with Diaz last year are seemingly getting fixed. He has, if I'm correct, 9 goals and 2 assists this season, which, let me just double check real quick what he got on the whole last season. Yep, so in 16 games, Diaz has got 9 goals and 2 assists. In 51 games last year, he got 13 goals and 5 assists. We are 4 goals and 3 assists away from matching what he done last year, and we aren't even in the new year. That for me is an improvement. That for me puts him in the S tier. 9 goals already. I can't ignore that. 11 goal contributions in 16 games. That's the type of output I want from the forward. So for me, he goes in the S tier. Alexis McAllister, Ali Mack. Ali Mack's a weird one because I think people have underrated him this year because we remember what he was like at the back end of last year in terms of the impact he was having on the games and the amount of clutch moments he was producing for us. And whilst those haven't been prevalent this year, I think he's still been really important for us. I think you look at Nottingham Forest, when he went off, he looked much worse. Crystal Palace, when he went off, he looked much worse. I think a thing that has damaged him recently has been the injury. I think he's been playing with an injury since that Crystal Palace game, and that's led to an overall dip in performances. I'll put him high B. High B, low A. I think people are underrating what McAllister's done this year because of what we saw at points last year. I think McAllister's been solid. Really, really solid for us. So for me, he goes in the B tier. Mo Salah, another S tier. Let me put him at the front because he's been our best player this year. So right, before I get on to this, Dominic Szoboszlai has not been better than McAllister this year. He hasn't. That's a stone cold fact. He has not. Alexis McAllister is at the point he was last year in November, December, where everyone expects something different than what he is. McAllister has been solid for us. McAllister has been a key part in keeping us ticking over. Let's not lie. When McAllister's not on the pitch, Liverpool struggle. I named you 2 games right then and there where we struggled. Has he struggled since Crystal Palace with injuries? I think so. But does that detract from what he was doing in August, September, and October, where for pretty much 2.5 months, I can't think of a bad performance he put in. But he's not. But the fact is, Andre, he's not. He's not because McAllister plays on the other side where Szoboszlai covers. So he's not covering McAllister. He's not. I don't have a thing. I'm going to have to do it on a piece of paper real quick. When Liverpool defend, Liverpool go into a pivot defensively. So, let me just draw this out real quick. When Liverpool have the ball, you will see this shape form. Liverpool form. Let me just make myself big here. Liverpool form a midfield 3 in that way. You'll have Gravenberch as your 6. You'll have Szoboszlai as your right-sided 8/10, and McAllister off the left. When Liverpool don't have the ball, that shape inverts in a sense, and you have your 1 up top and your 2 in your pivot. You have your 1 up top and your 2 in your pivot. Now, if that's Szoboszlai on the, I'm trying to think how this comes across on camera. So that your left-hand side, alongside Robertson, in front of Van Dijk, that is McAllister. This is Gravenberch, because Gravenberch and Trent have oftentimes this season done link up together when building up through the lines after winning the ball quickly in the pivot. That to me means that when Szoboszlai is covering, Szoboszlai doesn't cover on the left. He covers on the right. He goes and covers the space that Trent vacates to help out whoever's the DM that side, which means that he's helping cover Gravenberch. That doesn't detract away from what Ryan Gravenberch has done. In the same way that I can't detract from what McAllister's done. If we're going to act like McAllister has been a poor player this year, let's be serious. Oh my fucking god! Are you serious? Are you serious right now, Ryan? Let's be fucking honest now, man. Come on, let's be serious now. Stop with this shit, please. Your McAllister agenda. It was never funny at any point. It's now just quite fucking annoying. Right, how do I put you on timeout? How do I put you on timeout? There you go. I put you on timeout. I didn't mean to ban you. Let me go and fix that. I didn't mean to ban you. I just want to put you on timeout, but StreamYard's crap at it. Just told me you'd be banned. I mean, you deserve a ban for that. If we're being entirely honest, I just want to time it out for 5 minutes. So have you sit down and figure out what you've done wrong? Because saying that Harry Winks is better than McAllister. Yeah. Let's be serious now. Let's be completely and utterly serious. There you go. You can go on timeout for 5 minutes. Fuck that. I'm not seeing you run. Harry Winks covers ground better. Shit. No chance. No chance. Absolutely no chance. Next up, Jarell Quansah. DTF. Not played much when he has played. His confidence is shot. I really like him as a footballer, but he needs to bounce back and he needs to find his confidence again that he lost after, Ipswich and then Brighton. Not the greatest of showings from him. Robertson probably sits alongside Szoboszlai as the worst player out of the consistent starters this season. I thought he was actually quite good against Aston Villa in the game before the international break, but it's just not been consistent enough. He's been struggling against certain wingers this season, and the set piece delivery just hasn't been there. I hope Robertson can bounce back from this because I have a lot of love for Andy Robertson, but he sits in the same category as Szoboszlai for me, which is the C tier. Tsimikas is going to go into B tier by virtue of he's been slightly better than Robertson. And there is a reason why Robertson struggled, as LFC review says. He hasn't had a pre-season. Not going to detract away from Tsimikas, though. Tsimikas has had a very good... Not very good, that's a bit too far from me. Fucking I'll rein yourself in, Thomas. Tsimikas has had a pretty solid start to the season. Set-piece delivery's been good. He got an assist away at AC Milan. Defensively, there's still the occasional moments, i.e. AC Milan, when he makes a boneheaded decision. But for the most part, he's been quite good. Obviously, he's got a slightly better delivery than Robertson, slightly more consistent delivery than Robertson. For me, he goes in the category above Robertson in the B tier. But I think if you look at this, you'd say that left back's probably a position that can be improved upon this this upcoming set of transfer windows. We'll do Trent next because Trent's going to go into the A tier for me. And that might anger a lot of people. That might anger a lot of people. Trent Alexander-Arnold's been very good this year. He's been very good this year. Defensively. I've not seen many wingers get the better of him this year. And systematically, he has been told to limit his attacking game. He's not getting the same positions. He's not necessarily at the same freedom. But I don't think Trent has been at the level of Diaz, Canate, Gravenberch, Salah, or Van Dijk this year. I don't. I think whilst there has been a marked improvement defensively, it's not been perfect. Attacking wise, it's not even necessarily just attacking wise. I'm not going on about his crossing orders or just stuff like that. I'm going on about at points in the game, he seems to rush everything still. At points in the game, he's playing long balls when he should play it short. He's inverting when he should overlap. And overall, I think there's been points this year where his attitude on the pitches annoyed me as well. You know, you think back to Brentford. There's been plenty of times this year where Salah has received the ball and Trent's made an overlap and run, and Trent hasn't received the ball and he's throwing his hands up in the air and being angry and shit. And I feel like there's been certain things this year with Trent where I just can't put him in the same category as those above him. So for me, he's in the A tier. I think he's been good, and again, really good defensively. Not many wingers have got the better of him this year. Certainly not across a whole game either. But just not enough to go into the S tier. Just not enough to go into the S tier for me. Van Dijk, S tier. He is a monster at the back, best centre back in the world. Captain fantastic. Can't think of a bad game he's had. Can't think of a bad spell in a game he's had. Leads that defence with so much authority. He's added some goals as well this year in big moments. You know, Arsenal, Milan. So there's not much to say about Van Dijk. I think that this is the highest level of Van Dijk that we've seen post ACL in terms of the overall package of football that we've got. I think is on a slot this year has unlocked a side to Virgil van Dijk's game in terms of passing that we hadn't really seen before. He's unlocked a side to his game in terms of the positioning, I'm going to say. I think that he's back. 5 minutes wasn't long enough. Should we have a look at this, Ryan? Because I'm actually intrigued as to what the score was that day. Tottenham versus Real Madrid 2017. What, when they drew 1-1 on match week 3 when Tottenham played the back five? And Tottenham's only goal came from a Varane own goal. And Tottenham had 30% possession. Is that the game you're on about, Ryan? No, we didn't. Big up Saki says Slot has stifled Trent. His best attribute has always been offensively. I don't need defensively. Okay, left back, I need a great pass that gets assists. I disagree. I think you can't look at Liverpool this year and look at how we played and look at what we've achieved so far and say that a certain situation should have been changed. Arne Slot has, if you want to use the term stifled, I'll use the term stifled. He's stifled Trent in a sense of he's given him less freedom, but he's given him less freedom for the betterment of the team and the betterment of himself. Trent was getting done in plenty of times last year and years gone by because of the freedom that he had. And when teams would catch us, they would go straight into the space he's vacated. Now, because Trent is in that position, because he's not being given as much freedom, when teams try and hit us on the break, when teams try and count into the space, Trent's there to pick it up and you're seeing the defensive side of it. You've got to remember, a right back's job mainly first and foremost is to defend. They're a defender first and foremost. I love Trent's passing, and I think that we have seen moments this year where it has helped us and bailed us out in moments. But the big thing is our defence has been the best part of Liverpool this year. And the reason that defence has been so good is because we have stopped attacking with so much. I'm going to use the term freedom again, but in a bad way. It's like the players could go whatever. There was no structure. And that would mean that when we got caught out, we would be we'd be asked to chase and chase and chase, and we'd get dragged into games which we shouldn't be dragged into. This year, we have fewer ways to unlock defences. This year, it'll be a problem later on. I disagree. If the game calls for it, Trent can go forward. 100% he can. And we've seen Slot do that at points this year. If the game calls for it, Trent can go forward. But we've got Salah. We've got just from an attacking sense, you've got Salah, you've got Gakpo. Both players who can put in a number of creative moments. You've got McAllister, you've got Curtis Jones, you've got Harvey Elliott. A number of players who can put in creative moments. That's 6 players there who I back in a moment to play a good incisive pass or to create for me, and Gravenberch as well. And ultimately, I won't need to unlock so many defenses this season and unlock them consistently this season if I'm not conceding to these teams. Part of the problem that we had last year was we were conceding so many. You can't win a league title if you're conceding 40 goals. You can't. We were going down to Sheffield United. We were going down to Luton. We were going down to fucking... Who else was there? Forest. We were going down to... You name them, we probably went down 1-0 to them. You name them, we probably went down 1-0 to them. Therefore, we were having to chase... Therefore, these defences were being even more stubborn because they had something to hold on to. And we needed 2 instead of 1. This season, because our defence has been so good and we are not conceding stupid goals, we are having less of a reason to unlock these defences consistently. We only need to score 1. It's easy to score 1 than to score 2. So if we only need to score 1, we don't need to unlock these defences as much. I don't think Liverpool have a problem unlocking a defence once. I think Liverpool have a problem unlocking a defence 2, 3, 4 times. That's the big difference. That's the big difference. And finally, the main man, Arne Slot. S tier. What a guy. What a legend. What a hero. I cannot say a bad word about Arne Slot this season. I cannot say a bad word about Arne Slot this season. I think his management has been faultless. I think the tactics, for the most part, have been spot on. And even when they've been a bit wrong, he adjusts them mid-game and he gets them right. I think his man management's been fantastic. I think the way he's dealt with the media has been brilliant. I think that I love the fact that Arne Slot hasn't come in and tried to be someone he's not. Arne Slot has come in after replacing a figure of the magnitude of Jurgen Klopp, a figure of the importance of Jurgen Klopp. And it's very easy for a man to be drawn into that and to try to become Klopp 2.0 and trying to appeal to the fans in the same way. And Arne Slot's not done that. Arne Slot understands that if he is his man, if he is who he is, the fans will buy into that. And I think we all have. I think every single Liverpool fan on the planet is buying into Arne Slot and buying into what he's saying and buying into what he's doing. And he said something at the start of his tenure at Liverpool. And he said, I don't need to try and win the fans over. I need to perform on the pitch and the fans will buy in. And that's exactly what is happening with Arne Slot. I like the way he deals with the media. I like the way that he's just so blunt with them. I like the way that he is how he is as a person. I'm a big fan of how he set us up defensively this year. If you watched me last year, you know I was going on and on and on and on and on and on and on about how open we were defensively, how it was going to cost us in big moments. Arne Slot is that guy. Arne Slot's tactics, Arne Slot's setup, the way he's the way we are organised and the way we are run as a unit under him and his coaching staff. The levels he's got out of players, obviously Gravenberch, like I said earlier, if I'd have told anyone last year Ryan Gravenberch would be the best DM in the league by November next year, he would have all laughed at me. Curtis Jones, Cody Gakpo. I'm just looking at the list here, like Diaz. There's just so many players he's improved. I can't speak higher. I cannot speak higher of Arne Slot this year. It was always going to be a tough act to replace Jurgen Klopp, but Liverpool seemingly have nailed it. So before I finish this up, and I want to call it there, I am going to structure this before people cry about the list of like ranking them from worst. So like this bottom tier, I think is spot on, and mind you, Quanta should probably go there by virtue of Harvey Elliott hasn't played, so I can't actually rank Harvey Elliott. I think that bottom, that C tier is spot on. Simicast probably ends up going to about there. Let me put Allison there as well. A, I think is spot on, and S, I think is spot on as well. Maybe put Arnie down to there. I'd say these are the players that he's improved. They're the players that are just showing a really high level still. So I think that is the perfect tier list for the season so far. I think that when we look at this season so far, we've lost one, we've drawn one, we've won an unbelievable amount of games, unbelievable amount of tough games in big moments. That Leverkusen, that night against Leverkusen, ridiculous. I think people need to. I understand why people are going to be on edge and nervous to commit. I'm going to say this. I think Liverpool can achieve something special this year. I think that teams around us are floundering and struggling, and I think that Arne Slot can smell the blood in the water. And I think we play Manchester United January 5th at home. To me, that game against Manchester United on January 5th, that could be the moment where people start to believe again. Like how it was all the way back in 2019-20. I think that is the moment where people start to go, this is going to happen. I think Liverpool are going to achieve something special this year. And I think Arne Slot is going to be the guy to lead us to it. I'm all in on him and his beautiful bald head. But people, I'm going to call it there. I'm going to love you. I'm going to leave you. If you're new and not already, make sure you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, and you'll turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any more content. I will be back tomorrow, I think. I'm going to do another tier list, something a bit different this time, and I might bring on a guest. I don't know. I'll see who's about, but I might be bringing on a guest for the tier list tomorrow. But big ups, everyone. I appreciate the support. Love yous, leave yous in a bit. To raw people, to raw.